Hi guys, it's me again, and I just finished listening to a great audio. It's a CD, Edge CD. I would definitely recommend it. It's the basic idea is there's no age limit to success, and my CD was Break Free from Your Comfort Zone. So we're gonna be talking about that. So I'm just gonna start with a basic question. Have you ever been too comfortable? Like, has fear ever stopped you from getting out of your comfort zone, from doing something new that you're not comfortable with, that you've never done? I have. So I have been in a lot of situations like that. The first one was I go to guides, and it's a great program, but I didn't know that until I actually went in. And I didn't really want to go, and but after I went, it's been a great experience for me. This is my dog here. Hi, Fletchy. Hi. It's my dog Fletcher, and it's very snuggly. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is empathy. No, that's not it. I can't say it. I forgot how it sounds. So it's basically, I call it comfort zonality. It's like being too familiar with your comfort zone and you don't really want to move out. But there's actually a definition in the dictionary or in a world famous book, and it says it's comfort zonality, or what I call it. That's what I call it. There's another word, but I just call it comfort zonality. The definition is it's a human instinct to lean towards comfort instead of what they're good at. I think that's it. That's just my brother's video game, if you can hear that. So have you ever been like struggling, or there's just like, I know a lot of people face comfort zonality, or you might call it a different thing, but I just call it like that. Comfort zonality, you might face comfort zonality, and you might face it, and it's basically just leaning. Have you ever been like going into a certain program and you think you're not gonna be good, but then when you actually try it, you're like amazing? Something like that. And I know I have been faced with it many times, many. The list could go on and on. But how do you face it? Do you not stand up to it? Do you like keep in your comfort zone? Do you not do it? Do you stand up to it? I don't know. But there's just many different ways of handling it. But I personally think that the best way of handling it is standing up to it and trying it. But you can try it and still have bad, negative thoughts. So let's say you just went into, I don't know, a camp with people you don't know, or a new school, let's just say, a new school. And you have to make all these new friends, and let's just say you said, all right, I'll do it, but you still have these bad thoughts. You still you're thinking, oh, maybe the other kids at school won't like me because I'm not very rich, or I'm not cool like the other kids, or I don't get good grades, something like that. If you think like that, it's almost like I just listened to the audio and the person in the audio said, those bad thoughts are like a garden. Let's just say you have a big patch of soil in your yard. What will gonna happen if you just leave it there? There will eventually, weeds will grow. Weeds. Weeds can grow almost anywhere. Anywhere. I think there's been known to grow weeds in the desert, I think. But that's not the point. And if you don't tend to it, if you don't pull the weeds out and plant flowers, good thoughts, weeds will keep growing, and eventually, if you don't tend to it, your garden will be not a firm patch of soil. It won't be a flourishing flower bush. It will be tangled, gross weeds. Just handfuls. But yes, I have a garden, and there wasn't enough water, and we couldn't, my dad and me were in charge of the garden, and we didn't pull enough weeds, and it was overrun by weeds. Like the little sprouts of corn were like, the weeds grow very fast, like babies, and they covered and the corn, and the corn was just done. And the corn is almost like the good thoughts. If you're not careful with the weeds can overrun the flowers, and eventually they will droop and die. Sad. Anyway, but that's not the point. Don't get that in your head. But there's one way to cure it. You can tend to the weeds and plant flowers. Flowers. And if you plant more if you take out a weed and replace it with good thoughts, a flower, then there's less chance the weeds will grow there. Less chance. Less. So, yeah. So I guess what I mean about you can't take your old self into a bright new future is, in order to move into a bright new future, you need some change. And if you try to move your old self into a bright new future, you'll just get the same old present. And the next thing we're going to be talking about is there's always way to improve. Yeah, there's always way to improve. I'm pretty sure if you're a kid listening to this, you go to a certain school, or if you're an adult, you go to a certain work. And not so much the work part, but the school part. And there's always this grade board. I don't have a grade board because I'm homeschooled, but I'm pretty sure I have a few friends who go to school, and they have a grade board. And that board is in the middle of the hallway and shows everybody in the school, it's gigantic, their grades and how they're doing, and the teachers and principals' perspective of their improvement. And if you are bad on that board, you can know you're not impressing your teachers or principal, for that matter. And it's almost like think of it this way, an improvement board. I think of it as an improvement board. If you are bad, you can look on if you're wondering how you're doing, you can always go on the board and see where you're at, and which spaces you can work on. Let's just say the last 5 history tests, you've gotten Fs, just say. You can know where to look on, you can know which subjects you need to work on, phys ed, and you can look for ways to improve yourself. But just because, this doesn't make sense, just because you've got A's in every single thing, there's always a way to improve. Let's just say you got A's, doesn't mean you can't get A+ or A++, or a smiley face sticker or something. And yeah, so there's always a way to improve. There's always a way, always. There's always ways to improve. And the next thing, I think I made my point there. The next thing is make a vision. Make a vision of what your life could be, or in this case, will be. If you're listening to this video, probably will be. You can envision what you would like your life to be, what you need your life to be. Like, my brother's just watching Brave. And you can, God, what's I gonna say? I hate when this happens. Like, it's right in the, like, ugh. Okay, I'm just gonna talk about something different until that comes back. Just a minute. Oh yes, this quote. You can't take your old self into a bright new future. This goes back to the comfort zone talk, whatever you want to call it. And you can't take your old wins into a new bright future. Like, you can't take your past into your future, basically. It's almost like cleaning. Like, you can't take, imagine if every year you got, like, let's just say 50 new toys or things. And you can't take and by this time you are 10 years old. You have 10 times 50. I can't do that. So a lot of things. And you can't take them all into the new house. Like, let's just say you're moving into a new house. You can't take them all. So you need to choose which ones are important. Do you need them? You can't take them all into your new life. You need new stuff, new memories, new things. And, well, it's not always the case, but let's just put it this way. So, you can't take your old self into a bright new future. Won't happen. Never will. Never has. Like, it's not possible. You can't take, well, if you do, it is possible. But if you do, it always comes back to bite you. What I'm trying to say is, if you want to move into the future, let's use the example of a doctor or a lawyer. You can't take your old self to go into the lawyer, or a doctor. Like, you're not trained, your old self is not trained, you need to learn certain things, you need to develop things. So you need to personally change to become your goals. So, just gotta get my... So, I remember what I was gonna say. Okay, so about the positive vision, I remember what I was gonna say. You need to make a positive vision of what you want life to be. Let's just say a year from now, 2 months from now, anytime. Like, my dad, okay, anyway, so my dad, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, he said, in 5 years, in like 6 years, we are going to move into a new house. Maybe this year. I think we're moving into a new house in New Zealand next year. Dad doesn't like our house. He wants a smaller house. It's horrible. Anyway, I like big houses. So, and surprisingly, we're actually moving forward. He's made a positive vision and is working very hard to meet that goal. And I think everybody should have goals. I mean, like, living in the now, there's this saying called live in the now. I think that's kind of true, but at the same time not. I mean, you should live in the now, like enjoy. I basically think what it's trying to say is enjoy life while it happens and not worry about things in the future or in the past. But I don't really agree with that. I mean, like the past part, but I think you should envision your future. Like, live in the now, yes. Enjoy life. But you need to also look at the future and make goals for, I don't know, when you're 10 years old, 20 years old. Or if you're already an adult. Let's just leave it at that. I'm making this video in kid style, so if you're an adult, just put in adult wise. So you need to make goals in the now that to carry in on the future. And I don't really understand that. That'll be fine. So, yeah. So, I think part of the live in the now is true, but you also need to make goals for the future. I guess that wraps my talk up. So, see you guys. I was just thinking, if you want an Edge CD, check down below. Look down below and I'll have the details. And if you want it for an Edge CD. And you can also subscribe. You can also look at www.kiwi.coach for also details. And I was also just thinking, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm just getting started.